What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about some character names for Scream 6. Now, these are not by any stretch of the imagination confirmed, right? So we have to take these things with a grain of salt, but it's very interesting that the names have been changed, some of the names, I should say, on IMDb, and they match those rumored names that were floated out there a while. Remember, we covered it on the channel. I believe Tristan at Brittany Vinyl over on Twitter, he did a great little graphic where he kind of wrote all the character names and in the description. He had kind of matched them. In fact, we matched them together on this channel, and we'll go over that, as this video goes on. But there's some interesting ones to it, right? Where, again, now we definitely have, at least on IMDb, whether you trust it or not, you have characters or the actual actress or actor name linked to these rumored ones that were floating around. And then you also had Tony Revolori, right, who's the guy of the Flash in Spider-Man. He's been labeled as Stab Richie, which is a very interesting one, and that's gotten a lot of people to speculate that Samara Weaving is Stab Sam. So I want to talk about those two in particular, but I do want to go over the rest of them that got those, name connections. So when it comes to those two in particular, I feel like it's kind of odd. Like I know they don't need to look exactly like, because you're making the movie of Stab, and you could even, I guess, make jokes where it's like that's Richie or that's Sam, like they don't look anything like them. And I would stand pretty strong. Like, again, I've said it before, if you told me Samara Weaving or her character is related to Liv, I'd believe you, because those two, just in their facial features, look generally the same. If you told me she was Sam's sister, I would start to not believe you nearly as much. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. And so, like, the bloodline, the facial thing, but maybe you can make a joke out of it that, like, they're not even close in terms of how they look in the movie, which, is maybe a thing that they're trying to poke at, right? Because there's been obviously a lot of movies nowadays in the last, say, 5 or so years that have completely changed characters, or they've swapped characters for whatever reason, but they've done it. Maybe that's kind of a ploy at that. Now, that's actually something I kind of just thought of on the fly, right? Because that would be kind of that's a meta commentary, basically. It's like, oh, movies do this, where they kind of cast people that don't exactly, seem like they're going to belong as that character. In terms of the usage, though, that's the first thing that I thought of, where it's like, do I want Samara Weaving to be Sam in a Stab movie? The answer is no. To me, the answer is very, very much no, for the simple reason of, when I say you would, like, waste her character, I understand she would already be a limited character. In fact, I'm kind of the one that's been spearheading that on YouTube, where I've talked about, like, hey, Samara, even like a Hayden Panettiere, they're only on set for like 2 to 3 weeks. They're not going to be in the movie much. At best, you can maybe do, if you want Samara as Ghostface, you could do Samara as like a Billy's mom thing in Scream 2. Like, you could kind of do that as a Debbie Salt, but I mean, that would be stretching it, and you'd be kind of copying exactly what you did in Scream 2. So I would kind of advise not to do that. So the only other thing maybe would be an early kill or a CC Cooper kind of thing, where you only are in, a little bit of the movie. That's always been my feeling, but I feel like you could get good usage out of an actress like Samara. I think you'd be able to do quite a lot of good things, even in limited time. If she was Stab's version of Sam, like, yes, like the Tori Spelling thing, and that's kind of iconic. To be honest with you, I don't care all that much, and it's mainly because of, like, limited usage of it. I like the idea of, like, universe building in that way, right, where it's like these people are playing the Sydneys, Gales, and Deweys of the fictional universe in our fictional universe. Like, like, it's fun. It is definitely fun. I'm not taking away from that. I think that's a clever idea. I just don't care all that much, and again, someone like Samara, I would like to see her used more than, like, Kirby and Mindy are talking in the theater, and then you're seeing the movie playing in the background, and you see Samara as, you know what I mean? And I honestly feel like that's what you would get. That's kind of what we've always gotten with Stab movies. Very, very rarely do you get, like, an uncut, like the camera is fully focused on the scene playing from any Stab movie. Yes, you do get a little of it, primarily in, like, the earlier ones, but you know what I mean? Like, you get a little, but then the idea is, like, the movie's just playing in the background as things are happening. So now Samara Weaving becomes, like, a background thing as the characters that are real, right? They're doing stuff. Does that make sense? I just, and again, it's a personal preference. I just don't like that. I would not want. Now, do I think there will be Stab versions of these characters on the, in Stab, whatever they want to call it, in this movie? Yeah, there probably will be. Do I want necessarily Samara Weaving to be that? No. Honestly, I really don't. I don't know who I actually would, so I'm going to cop out and just kind of leave it there. Now, the rest of them we did get, and let's kind of just go through the picture because I think that's probably the easiest way of showing it. So you look here at Devin Nakota, and hopefully I'm not saying that name wrong, but I probably am, and she's now labeled as Allison. Liana Liberato is labeled as Carly. Again, you have Tony Revolori. He's labeled as Stab Richie. Samara is not labeled as Stab Sam. I don't know if she was and it was taken down or whatever, but obviously the Stab Richie thing is getting people obviously thinking. And then you have Josh Segura labeled as David. And you know what? They may have taken more characters out because I think Jack Champion was altered as well. If you go to Brittany Vinyl's Twitter, okay? Great guy, by the way. We've had him on. And you look Derek, Eric, Alicia, and Claire. These are the names that they're using, the kind of like the code names, right? So Derek, lead character, Eric, lead character, Alicia. All of them are leads. And you look, Josh Segura was Derek, now David. Jack Champion was Eric, now Ethan. Devin Nakota was Alicia, now Allison. And Liana Liberato was Claire, now Carly. So what they basically did was use the same thing they did for 5. Like Sam was Sarah, right? They kind of had almost extended names, and they just took the first letter. And loosely, I mean, a lot of these names are very close to like the first ones. So they take the names and they just swap them just a little bit. But that does, in my opinion, I mean, like IMDb, you can alter it, and I'm sure it's possible that it's fake. But I just feel like this is probably the real thing. So you have Derek, who's Carla's neighbor, and people think Carla is Sam. You have Eric, he is Christina's shy, geeky friend, and Christina, people think, is Tara, which makes sense because of ages, right? Alicia, now people think that she is going to be linked to Mindy, that Angel, she is Angel's loving girlfriend. Now that makes a lot of sense to me. We've seen her with Jasmine quite often offset, like a lot of Instagram stuff, right? It seems like those two are romantically interested in each other. So I would definitely assume Angel in this case would now be Mindy, and then Claire, she's Gideon's roommate. And Gideon, people don't really know who that is. It could be honestly anybody at this point, but pretty confident and fun. She's not afraid of her sexuality, yada yada yada. So that's, I mean, it's exciting. We're starting to kind of piece together it, and I like these things. I like having fun with this, and I honestly, as of right now at least, don't think that it's gonna hurt. Like, this is not like necessarily a leak, right? This isn't gonna hurt anything because we should know these characters, somewhat of their backstory and somewhat of, I assume, their names, as it goes on, as time goes on, as the trailer gets closer. One thing I want to shout out, I actually saw this on Brittany Vinyl's, like, his thread, and so I'll shout out the person who said this. Matthew Daniels said, just to give people a heads up about visiting the Scream 6 IMDb page to avoid the stunts page, as it's been revealed only Jack and Mickey's doubles way before release, hinting they were the killers. 6 has one character name listed in stunts so far, which at least shows they require a double. Now, I'm going to be very transparent. I actually, at the time of recording this, I have not looked. Now, does the insider in me, the one that needs to know everything, does that person want to look at it right now? Yes, it certainly does. But I'm going to watch it, or I'll look at it after I do this video. But that's an intro. I actually did not know that. Here's the thing. You could predict the killers in 5 without the help of knowing that they had stunt doubles. But that's a very easy, valid point that I didn't even know. That's like, if those were the only 2 that had stunt doubles, it's like, oh my dear, you know what I mean? It's like, well, you just gave it away. So, one of them has it. I wonder, man, I don't know. I won't even speculate it. I'll watch it again. I'll look at it after this. But that's pretty much it. Pretty exciting overall. And again, we're kind of getting closer to knowing the kind of the full picture on all these characters. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. If you want to follow or support me anywhere else, all my social media links, as well as our Patreon, is in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.